Successful robbery of large and well-known banks, financial institutions as well as hotels requires special intelligence. Police and FBI must also have a special ability and instinct to find those robbers quickly and enforce the law. Must have the very creative ability to create a perfect movies using those events. So is it wrong to call US the best country? Before we talk about Jesse and James, the two most famous robbers in American history, let's take a look at some of the biggest money and jewelry robberies in history. His name is Emil Denzio, and according to the FBI, he's the most successful bank thief ever. The Denzio and his group were able to loot $30 million from safe deposit boxes at the Laguna Niguel branch of the United Bank of California. They exploded the concrete roof of the bank on Friday night and entered the bank. The robbers broke the locks on the deposit boxes and fled with the money. The bank was unaware of the robbery until the bank opened on Monday morning, as there were no advanced security measures in this time period. On September 12, 1997, a group of thieves committed one of the biggest cash robberies in the nation's history. It's its Dunbar armored facility in Los Angeles, California. The Dunbar company specialized in armored car services, and the LA facility was a major depot for these vehicles. As such, a great deal of cash was stored in the facility, most of it intended for ATMs in the Los Angeles area. A man named Alan Pace worked for Dunbar as a regional safety inspector. At some point, working around all that cash must have gotten the better of Pace. He went to great lengths to study the layout and security features of the Dunbar depot. He photographed the building, studied the guard schedules and timed the security cameras. After a great deal of planning, Pace recruited 5 friends to help him pull off the heist. On the night of September 12, the group met at a party before slipping away, dressing in black and going to the Dunbar facility. Once there, they used Pace's knowledge of the facility to sneak inside. They then waited for guards to go on break before overpowering them and tying them up. They grabbed the bags of cash with the highest denominations, destroyed the security camera recordings and escaped. Samuel Nallo and Robert Comfort were professional burglars and thieves. The team consisted of Lucchese crime family associate Robert Bobby Germain. They paid and booked the room at the hotel on a party day. The robbers, disguised after entering the hotel, held 19 people hostage. Within 3 hours, thieves broke 50 locked boxes in the vault and stole about $3 million in cash and jewelry. The crime has been dubbed the most successful hotel robbery by Guinness World Records. Four films have been made using this robbery. Were you curious to know about the robberies that led to the making of American movies and the interesting places where those films were shot, as well as famous film locations? Click the upper link after the end of video. The mastermind of the robbery was Anthony Fatzpino, a professional criminal. On January 17, 1950, he and 10-man team wearing navy blue coats and chauffeur's caps similar to the Brinks employee uniforms with rubber Halloween masks, the thieves entered the depot with copied keys. Surprised and tied up several employees inside the company's counting room. Robbers filled 14 canvas bags with cash, coins, checks and money orders, for a total weight of more than half a ton. The mastermind of the robbery was Trump, who enlisted the help of an old Fargo employee and friend. Trump was the supervisor of the vault at the regional branch of Loomis Fargo and Company. Trump's job dissatisfaction, long hours in office and but not being paid enough, led him to steal. The plan went into effect on the night of October 4. Gant sent a new employee home, took $17 million in cash from the local branch vault and loaded it into the back of a bank van. Trump was the supervisor of that branch, so he could easily take the money and run away. The entire amount was divided among the conspirators. Frank James and Jesse James are two of the biggest robbers who have even reason for made movies in America. Growing up on a cannabis farm, the two brothers in their young time joined a guerrilla group of the American Civil War and began to rebel. One day, these bandits also tried to assassinate the president, Abraham Lincoln. Many of the guerrillas returned to civilian life after the war ended, putting down their weapons and picking up their plows. But Jesse and Frank felt no peace. They chose a life of crime. Shortly after noon on December 7, 1869, Frank and Jesse James walked into the Daviess County Savings Association in Gallatin, Missouri. One of the robbers, possibly Jesse, walked up to the cashier and asked to have a $100 banknote changed. As the cashier wrote out a receipt, the robber drew his revolver and fired 2 shots, one into his chest and another into his forehead. Someone chased after them, but managed to escape. First publicly confirmed bank robbery wasn't nearly so lucrative, perhaps because its objectives weren't entirely financial. Jesse James and Frank James, Cole Younger, and newcomer Clell Miller, a former Bloody Bill guerrilla and trusted friend of the James and Younger brothers. The four rode up to the Ockabach Brothers Bank. Once inside, they found only the cashier in the building. All 4 robbers drew their pistols and aimed them to the cashier. One of the robbers handed the cashier a sack. The cashier was ordered to put all the money in the bank into the sack. The cashier did as he was told. After they had their money, the robbers bound and gagged the cashier. The robbers successfully took the money and fled. Once again, Jesse's gang selected a bank for more than financial reasons. After 2 weeks of reconnaissance, 8 bandits rode into Northfield on the afternoon of September 7, 1876. Once inside, one robber aimed his gun 3 employees to their knees. When the bank's bookkeeper told them the safe in the vault was on a time lock and couldn't be opened, they held a Bowie knife to his throat and cracked his skull with a pistol butt. But citizens outside had noticed the outlaws and begun arriving with guns. As shots rang out, Jesse and his comrades had to retreat. Jesse was shot and killed the unarmed bookkeeper before leaving the bank. Several members of the gang would be cut down, others captured. In the end, only Jesse and Frank would make it back the 500 miles to safety in Missouri. Their most ambitious operation ended in the greatest disaster. There are also several bank robberies and train robberies, in which the two were involved together or individually. One guy was in Jesse's new gang who conspired with the Missouri governor to hunt down the illegal Jesse and win a $10,000 reward. $10,000 in 1882 is today $263,000. On April 3, 1882, Jesse got a bullet in the back of the head. Frank was not there when his younger brother met his end, and he had no desire to continue any criminality in Jesse's absence. Frank surrendered to Missouri authorities that October and was subsequently acquitted. Told that he would not be extradited to any other state if he kept a low profile, Frank willingly complied.